You gotta make a move to me, baby, yeah, yeah, yeah. Nah, you know me, I'm not wasting time. No secrets left to hide. You gotta show me love when you're ready, yeah, yeah, yeah. Why can't we ever bounce on the rhythm, yeah, yeah, yeah. You gotta make a move to me, baby, yeah, yeah, yeah. Nah, you know me, I'm not wasting time. No secrets left to hide. You gotta show me love when you're ready, yeah, yeah, yeah. Say yeah, yeah, yeah. Say, you know me, I got no time to waste. Type of energy that can't be replaced, no debate. We can take it back to my place. I can turn around, let me show you how it tastes, yeah. A baller, mine on the dollar. Swallowing the bottle while you're smoking on gelato. Now do you need some of that noodle? Just tell me that you're coming through. Why can't we ever bounce? Why can't we ever bounce on the rhythm, yeah, yeah, yeah. You gotta make a move to me, baby, yeah, yeah, yeah. Nah, you know me, I'm not wasting time. No secrets left to hide. You gotta show me love when you're ready, yeah, yeah, yeah. Why can't we ever bounce on the rhythm, yeah, yeah, yeah. You gotta make a move to me, baby, yeah, yeah, yeah. Nah, you know me, I'm not wasting time. No secrets left to hide. You gotta show me love when you're ready, yeah, yeah, yeah. Why can't we ever bounce on the rhythm?
It's like a glitch I can't control. Someone's fucking with my dough. Kind of voodoo shit, you know. You know, you won't find me tongue-tied. No witness on my side. Harmonies when I cry. This stuff makes me nauseous. Losing what they taught us. Gotta tread real cautious. But I go back to default. I go back to default. I go back to someone's fucking with my door. Kind of voodoo shit, you know. But you won't find me tongue-tied. No witness on my side. Harmonies when I cry. This stuff makes me nauseous. Losing what they taught us. Gotta tread real cautious. I go back to default. 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 I go back to
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Azuris broadcast. It's day 2. This is where the action ended in the last Open, but now these players are looking to go through untreaded ground. And it is myself, SirPigasus, joined here today by a very much alive, a very much higher saturation, Quanzek.
I have grown up. I have evolved from a black and white stretched out picture on my Liquipedia page. I am here. I am present. I am actively ready to watch Azuris book their ticket into day number 3. We saw glimpses of what this team could be. We saw them play 2 very quality, high caliber teams, 2 close games 5 times in a row. And they are on the verge. Pigasus, you and I were both talking after the last Open and just saying, like, we were impressed. Like, they came out at a stronger level than what even you and I had anticipated. And I'm excited to see how that evolves here in Open number 5. And I think these boys deserve a Swiss stage. So I'm looking forward to seeing it happen today.
Absolutely. Looking at a few words between the players there, they actually were not too impressed with how they performed yesterday, despite qualifying through the upper bracket. They had a few close matchups in their second series where they would start off behind. It required a little bit of last-minute heroics to get themselves back in the action. And then, of course, there was that final series where they did drop a game, looked like they were going to drop a second, and eventually, mostly due to shout-out Sicarino, having an absolutely insane performance for the remainder of that series, that team turn around their fortunes a little bit and get themselves into this grand position they sit at. They are in winners round 1, technically. 2 wins in that upper bracket would qualify yourself for the Swiss stage. That M and N round you can see on screen would just be a seeding match to say if you would be in uppers or lowers or Swiss. But as you can see there, Quanzek, first match of the day, it's Pickup FC, which is a 2/3 English roster with Ethan and Gorfs, and a German alongside with Day Shift. So Sicarino might have to prove he's the best German around, just like he had to do so in the last round yesterday.
Look, as an American casting EU Rocket League, I will say, since I started with you about 6 months ago at this point, Pig, I have learned so much more because I've been covering Opens, I've been covering Redirect Monthlies, I've been covering Benelux, whatever else, right? I've been trying to get in my bag when it comes to EU Rocket League, especially the bubble scene. The fact that I know these players means they're quality players. Like, this is going to be a fantastic team. That's my threshold, and that's my meter to figure out if players are gonna be good if I've heard of them, okay? I don't know their exact play styles yet, but I'll defer to you there. All my 2 cents here is just that this is gonna be a quality opponent and one that Azuris cannot turn a blind eye towards.
I love that for a quality check for European talent. Does the American know who they are? Yes, they do. Oh, they must be spicy. They must be something special. And to be fair, Gorfs and Ethan absolutely are. In fact, there was a top 8 in Open 1 for Gorfs back when he was on, I believe it was RRG. He was the Englishman on that roster. He was teaming with, I believe it was Reese Fox and Rizex. I want to say those other 2 R's were off the top of my head. So, you know, he's got that top 8 experience. He's been on the mainstream, so to speak. So I feel like in that sense, it really does speak for itself. Gorfs has been hyped up for quite some time as one of those up-and-coming English talents to try and herald the charge here for English Rocket League. You'd think of other names alongside him, like the likes of Pluvo, of course, now playing for Dangerous Esports, and as well his current teammate Ethan. Ethan started off on Team Hosky. I casted him way back when he was teamed with Pluvo and Grammar, and he was just, you know, dipping his toes into the scene. And ever since leaving, he has had some more fantastic performances to go alongside it. He's still looking for that next top 16. He's got himself into the round 5 of Swiss on numerous occasions now at this point. So this is going to be a team that admittedly would be disappointed to lose this first round versus Azuris, as is typical with starting in the uppers for day 2. You're going to get given a really tough roster. It's not exactly team vitality, but for the kind of pool that is remaining here now that those top 8s are already guaranteed that Swiss stage, I would say this was quite a tough draw.
And unfortunately, as you've just teed it up, like, that is the name of the game currently. It is going to be nothing but quality talent at this level of stage that we're at. The winner side is going to be all teams that have their own bid at top 32. And the onus is on Azuris' shoulders of, okay, we want to be the best. You got to step up. You got to play. You got to take down some quality rosters on the way there. And this one, it's not a foregone conclusion that it's just an instant loss being handed over to them. It's going to be a great series. And if Azuris can play solid, I'm not saying perfect, but their game for the full duration of it, I think they should take it realistically. And having that win in the current format that we have is such a massive advantage. Because if you win the next series, you're already in. If you lose, you drop down to losers round 5, losers round 4, one of those two, and you only have 2 more matches to play before you're qualified in, as opposed to the gauntlet of a lower bracket run that 5 or 6 series consecutively would be. So here is to Azuris playing their game. That's what I'm looking for here more than anything. If they can get in their rhythm, not bother to play what their opponents are looking to do, specifically pick up FC in this initial matchup, I think they'll be off to a good start.
And as well, alongside that, if they are able to pick up a victory in this first round, it does immediately up their prize pool from a healthy $300 all the way up to $450. So that's a little bit extra on the side here, Quanzek, but these are players for glory. I know that Darkrai especially will have some inspiration to go alongside with the support of his football team, but now heading into Rocket League, he's got to make the most of that. Azuris versus Pickup FC. We are going in here as the underdogs, but you remember how close it was against Team Vitality. Play any similar like you did in the last Open against Pickup FC. We might see a result go in the shocking swing.
It's a gorgeous start. Pickup FC just trying to get a little bit cheeky off the kickoff, and they're instantly punished with a gorgeous transition pass into a long redirecting goal. Azuris on the board, only 12 seconds in. Maybe back to back here. Sicarino trying to chip that over the top of Goffs, but Pickup FC learning really quickly that Azuris shouldn't be underestimated.
And as you can see at the top of your screen, it is going to be best of 5s all day. And as much as I like to say, you got plenty of time to try and warm up into a series, you're going to be facing quality opponents. They're going to come out kicking and screaming straight out the gates. You can already feel that from Pickup FC. But where I've been impressed is that Azuris immediately able to match it. You can see a lot of forward pressure for them. Pickup FC really have not had much time in that Azuris half, but that leaves them untested. We're still yet to see some of those offensive capabilities when they're able to string a few passes together. And as much as that is something to wait for here and to see how Azuris respond, if we never get there in the first place, I'd be glad to call that as well.
Yes, I agree with you handedly. Pig, that is well, that would certainly be the feat, but that has to happen in the first place. As this one chipped out over to Goff's infield pass, laid up for Ethan, and Day Shift now flipping forward in tandem with the ball. Sicarino can't get that one around Goff's, and a little bit of worry for the defense of Azuris as that one played out by Daiki. Goff's chipping that one along, and there's a good challenge, but straight down to Ethan, and that's just an unfortunate result of that 50 more than anything else.
Absolutely. It was a well-timed catch there from Goffs, and he waited till that very last moment to hold off that 50-50, and you saw the way he directed it immediately to Ethan. That does show that extra bit of awareness between those two players. They did go to round 5 of Swiss, I believe, in the last Open. So they're going to be looking to improve and get themselves in the top 16. That's the only way that's up here for Pickup FC. It's going to take, like I said, a massive performance from Azuris to try and bring this side down. But still remaining impressed, and 3 minutes gone on the clock. Azuris might just be able to do something special, but Ethan drags it forward. Daiki able to get it to an initial stop. Sicarino will send it forward. Gorsvo waiting with that 100 boost, and well, we saw what he's able to do last time he was in a similar position. Well, it's 50-50 finding teammate. No, Sicarino with the block, and Pickup FC still clamping on that pressure.
Daiki. Oh, what a great infield pass. Dayshift was prepped for it, though, as Darkrai goes for the net. Daiki shifting along. He's going to find Darkrai. Look to flip the pitch, but Goff's there first. He had more boost in the tank. Going to let this go and allow his teammate in Dayshift to take over. As Pickup FC a little bit scrambled defensively right now with this extended pressure beginning to build up from Azuris. They need some way to vent it, and they have finally gotten out over the midfield line to buy themselves a little bit of time. But Azuris knocking on that door, especially with this challenge by Sicarino. That doesn't help, though, as this ball is played all the way down to the other half, and Azuris has to go and regroup.
Daiki on. Has Ethan right in front of him. Darkrai sitting deep. That's how he played yesterday, and it was able to give him a lot of open opportunities. Not this time, though. Pickup FC just that step ahead. It's a lovely fake from Goffs again. It sends the Azuris defenders jumping, and that attempt for a bump as well from Ethan. Just was a little bit of an overload there for Azuris to deal with. There's the lead for Pickup. And that was the first time we see them behind, and considering the quality on the other side, survival field this long is impressive and does leave us begging for more. Sicarino looking to provide, takes it off that back wall. Dayshift, though, does away. Darkrai gets faked, and that ball is left under. It's Gorse yet again, who has been that danger man for Pickup FC so far. That's why you see him shut down quickly. Sicarino back up. Daiki can't catch. And it is going to be all Pickup FC yet again, with acres of space to try and take advantage of. But ultimately, Azuris bide their time.
Such a fantastic passing play, and it screams off the post. Just a little bit too wide on that shot was Darkrai, and Azuris now have to go back to the drawing board to find one more. Dayshift collecting this on 0 boost, and he gets help by Goffs and a little love tap behind him to stay behind that ball. Ethan double tap off the wall, just floating in front for Goffs. And I did not think that ball was going in, but lo and behold, it's 3 goals for Pickup FC.
They call it the corridor of uncertainty for a reason. You saw 2 Azuris defenders. You'd think that would be enough, but Goffs just about able to poach in that 3rd goal. And with 39 seconds left, it leaves a lot of work to be done here for Azuris. A 2-goal difference against a day 1 team is significantly smaller than that of a day 2, especially in the upper brackets. Still, Daiki challenges with the shot. Ethan forced to tip it out. Dayshift will just send it along, and now Pickup FC can just play that game on the clock, especially with them already having that insurance. If they sit back and soak up the pressure, 1 goal from Azuris isn't going to be too threatening to them, but if Pickup FC get themselves a chance, they're going to be very happy to take it as well, Konzek.
I don't necessarily think that Azuris has been outplayed this game. I understand the scoreline is 4-1, but almost every single one of these goals are coming off the backs of Pickup FC carrying the ball for free about 70% of the length of the pitch. They're going from their own half into Azuris' half without anybody making contact. Any challenge isn't there. They're all scrambling back on defense, and that's allowing for these really roll-in, tap-in goals that Pickup FC has been gaining. Azuris needs to make Pickup FC work for the goals, get quality shots on, force fantastic plays. That hasn't been the case in Game 1. We've been scoring decently well. It's just the defense falling flat. We need a challenge before they actually get into our half. I like the momentum gainer we got at the end of that game. Hopefully it'll tee up game number 2 to be a bit of a better showing.
It felt like a little bit too much respect there shown by
Yep.
Azuris, and you know, they played as if they saw themselves as that inferior team, but they need to get themselves that bit of confidence, because this is the team whose position you are looking to steal in that top 32. You've got to come into matches like this already believing you are equal or better than that opposition, or they're going to completely roll over you. That first goal is going to come in and you're going to be like, oh, I mean, that's the moment we were waiting for, and already you're just setting yourself up for failure. But with the way Azuris were able to start, how they quickly came out clearly wanting to make that instant impact, they did have the opponents a little bit concerned at times. But as soon as that train started rolling, like you mentioned, all of a sudden the space that our opponents seemed to have only seemed to increase. We started to see a little bit more of a low block, and that isn't a reference to Gorf's old roster. That's just the play style he's had to play against at this point. That's how they were looking like in the top 16 when they were facing the likes of Vitality and that. This isn't your Vitality versus low block in the main event. This is Azuris versus Pickup FC. Azuris picked up by the likes of Nordic Verdane as well. This isn't going to be the same three players we saw in Split 1. They are much better, they're improved, and perfectly capable, like we've seen glimmers of taking up Pickup FC, if they just give them a little bit less respect. So I'm hoping to see that in this second game.
Yeah, you know, respect your idols, respect the players that you look up to in the scene. But when you're actively playing them, it's no holds barred. I don't care if you target them for 17 demos in a single 5-minute Rocket League game. Whatever it takes, make it unplayable and unfun for them. Good challenge here by Darkrai enables Azuris to capitalize on a little bit of space. Ethan hard off the sidewall. He really just has to turn that to a double tap and gives up possession over to Darkrai. Darkrai trying to stay with this in the limitless decal. Shout out SSA. This one dropping down. Sicarino, no! Denied by Day Shift at the bar. Darkrai follow up on target, but Goffs will sink across his crease this time and find that save.
And Daiki challenges high in the corner, and this is a big Azuris start, similar to what we saw in Game 1, where Pickup FC have been held into their own half. How do they respond now as soon as there's a bit of a possession shift? Sicarino challenges, Daiki's there quick. There we go, that's a bit more like it.
Ever since this game started, Pig, Azuris has been pedaled to the metal. Their foot is on the ground. They have glued the accelerator, and they haven't picking it up. And Pickup FC have not left their half as a result. This is what we love to see. This type of momentum, this type of aggression. Swallow up the space and don't allow any breathing room to your opposition. A couple demos come out, and yet Daiki still stands tall as the lone defender. Darkrai trying to help out off the respawn. Sicarino got a piece of it, but not enough to keep it out of the net, and Pickup FC will equalize.
And that's just a boost difference there. You see him sitting on 0. You think even with a pad, he might have just been able to tip that one to the woodwork. It's the first goal conceded, and this is where things started to slow down a bit for Azuris in Game 1. It was exactly what they criticised them for, so we're hoping to not see that same mistake made in the second. Because I feel like with the way they were able to start off this game, they've proven they can go toe-to-toe. Yes, they can have that one opportunity every now and again, but that's just how these series tend to land. Darkrai back forward. Will there be a second? Is there going to be that high press like we've seen before? No one's here for the initial challenge. Daiki decides for the follow-up despite the low boost. Darkrai's on for the shot. It bounces off, unfortunately. His fellow teammates, but still you see Sicarino pushing himself right back into that action. Good dodge there for the bump away from Ethan, although Gorfs eventually claims a life there of Darkrai, but they're making them work just a bit harder. Almost a bump there on Ethan as well. Call and response. This is how Azuris are going to match and maybe even exceed their opponents.
They look faster right now. They're outpacing them to these balls. They're hungrier. Pegasus, that's what I'm looking at. Good demo here by Daiki. He's now going to work on this in the corner and spar with Ethan on the back wall. Chip forward, and Ethan still holding onto his delayed flip from the back wall, was able to get there. Daiki push this one forward. Darkrai trying to challenge on 0 boost. It's going to filter out to Sicarino, but he still has boost and the ball straight to the back wall. Chip up. Where's the follow? Goff's trying to panic. Darkrai shot on, but Day Shift there for the save. Another clearance collected by Ethan. Despite those 3 or 4 opportunities, Pickup FC's defense holds tall, and you can't have that pig on the back end.
No, you really cannot. This was a huge mistake. Sicarino resorting for that corner boost, but they already had plenty in the tank. You'd rather they just rotated inside and played as that second option in case the first man wasn't able to get that block off. But again, it felt like a one-off error. It didn't feel like an outplay. There's a huge difference in the manner of which you concede. And it's why it's going to hurt that little bit extra for now. But on the positive side of things, it should give us that faith that Azuris are not a team to be outplayed with the way they're currently playing. They'll only beat themselves. Sicarino won in the corner. Gorf's able to hold it up, but Darkrai was waiting low. There's a demo on Daiki, but if anything, that will help him just be back right in time to get the clearance. Here he is now. He goes up that right wall. Ethan back on, and you haven't seen them be able to really set up their own plays for quite some time because of that press from Azuris. And again, Pickup FC back to square one.
Man, they're racking up a catalog of saves, and yet Azuris cannot break through this force field that is seemingly around the Pickup FC net. Day Shift, chip up to himself. Darkrai taking over, looking for a double or a dunk. It goes no further than Goff's, and that one squibbled out even further by Goff's as he wins another dunk, and Daiki has to play it off of that redirect from his own back wall. That double commit sets 2, and now Darkrai's on an island with no boost. Goff's trying to get tricky with it, but he was a little bit too cute and has left the door open for Azuris with 10 seconds left. They need to find a goal now. Challenged by Daiki. Sicarino's the only one up, but he plays it backwards. Darkrai has to turn around, throw that one forward, but now nobody really has any boost. Daiki keeps it up, but it's towards Azuris' half. We're going the wrong way. Pickup FC get a win in what feels like a game they really shouldn't have, Pig.
It really does. It was a crucial mistake there to concede the game winner against Pickup, but did you notice the complete change of the nature at which Pickup played between Game 1 and Game 2? You weren't seeing any of these passing plays. You weren't seeing them with enough time to slow that play down, allow Ethan to go high and get those demos, which they were absolutely abusing in that first game. But that's because they were trying to chase counterattacks. It was always a response to Azuris being able to clamp down on offense. They weren't given that time to hold on to the ball, be able to get some boost pickups, pick out some of those few demos. They didn't have the luxury of options or of choice, and that was a huge improvement again from Azuris. It felt like what we asked for there, Quan. Now we've just got to iron out some of those individual mistakes and, for goodness sake, find the back of the net.
It's unforced mechanical errors that are giving the goals to Pickup FC, and you're right, Pigasus. Find the back of the net. How many saves are Pickup FC going to collect? They were quality shots, but at a certain point, stop banging your head against the wall and force it through. Find a bump, find a demo. Maybe get a little bit more intricate with your passing plays. I don't know what the idea has to be, but they've already proven they can save shot after shot after shot, no matter how quality they were. Some of those were on the goal line and they still found the save. Darkrai, here we go in game number 3, a must-win for Azuris if they want to stick in this series, and he's the one trying to toe the line for this roster right now. Daiki, good challenge onto Ethan. Ethan, well-timed flip though, and now Darkrai. Good chip out to himself. Sicarino actually has a look. He's beaten Goffs. It's straight down, but he can't get there in time to dunk it in. Daiki towards the net. Ethan recovers for the save.
And that's a nice little back pass there to Sicarino. Despite the 0 boost, it's still going to generate enough power to try and find Darkrai, although that high ball Is it going to be a good setup for his low boost teammates? Now Pickup FC will take it forward. Dayshift wants to slam it down, but I love to see Darkrai just looming as that danger man, waiting for a mistake. You wouldn't see that in game one. They wouldn't have anticipated a mistake. They thought Pickup FC were just some perfect team, but they had to give all the space in the world to. Not this time. Sicarino and Daiki both bunched up at that front post. They have to communicate perfectly, and seemingly they have done so, but that's going to be put to the test yet again. Sicarino, though, passing with flying colors. It's back to Dayshift.
Oh.
Daiki's already up. There's a mistake from Pickup FC. A completely open net. We'll see Daiki take goal 1 again for Azuris.
And okay, third game in a row where we've scored first. We're in the driving seat. Theoretically, if we just don't let them score, we win. I don't want that to be the recipe, but something needs to be different. We need a break in the pattern that we've established so far, because if this continues, it's just going to be a... Oh, wow. What a shot from Dayshift here.
That is gorgeous. A lovely catch, and then just that double jump to get it in front. And you notice there the way he leaned his car, he was almost faking that he was going to go for the air dribble bump straight afterwards and decided to keep with the ball. So that would have led the Azuris defender to let go of their boost for just a second. And by that point, they wouldn't be able to reach that ball anymore. It is such a picture-perfect opportunity there from Dayshift. But again, moments shouldn't win you games. It should be consistency. So still, with that equalizer and with the pattern that the last games have seemed to follow, I still feel like Azuris should be the team with the upper hand. It's felt like they've had more offense. It's just that Pickup FC are just going to be one of those teams that can make magic happen at any single instance.
This is completely unbiased casting, by the way.
Oh,
just so
of
everybody
course.
knows.
Of course.
This
of
is
course.
The objective mindset of Pig. That means
Yeah.
Azuris should like win the entire split and win, like, get their spot at Worlds and win Worlds. Like, that's just... objectively, they're the best team in the world right now, and I don't know what else to tell you.
Absolutely.
Chasing this one down. I do agree with you that Pickup FC, they can't ever be discredited.
Yeah.
Just in the way that, you know, they can make magic happen from anywhere. They're able to score from any part of the pitch, no matter what the play looks like. And that's come back to bite Azuris a couple times, as Ethan, with seemingly negligible boost, just beats 2 in our own half. It's plays like that set up the stage for Pickup FC to really not have to do a whole lot to stay competitive. That's a good infield pass, and Daiki has picked his corner well.
What a slot from Daiki thereafter. Darkrai was a really ambitious ball to go up for in the first place, but he had that confidence, was able to land that second touch thereafter. And like you said, picking the correct corner, I feel like if he tried to go anywhere else, it would be exactly what Pickup FC were prepared for. I love those shots where you just sneak behind a man with momentum, but Gorf's looking to respond, like I said, with that bit of magic that this team can constantly pull out. But again, it is Darkrai on the ball. Sicarino, he's got a little bit of space and time. Ethan's got 0 boost, still manages to tip it up to a teammate, but now Gorf's is going to be challenged by a few players. He's looking to try and pull off that 1v3. Sicarino will deny. And now it's going to be Darkrai yet again, trying to act as that setter for that second and the third man behind him. He's just willing to just challenge first, let those heavy touches come later and be cleaned up by the likes of Daiki and Sicarino, which is a complete role shift in all fairness compared to what we saw the day before. It felt like Darkrai was the player to sit back that little bit more and just poach those final shots across. But if it's working, I'm going to have absolutely 0 complaints. 1 minute left to try and hold on, and it was Azuris that were there with the attack.
Daiki, that challenge goes to Goffs. Ethan trying to get around it to get a shot on, instead bangs it hard off the back walls. This one's going to ricochet all over the place until Darkrai sends it down to Ethan. Ethan collecting all over the top of Daiki. Pickup FC have liked that play plenty of time. It's just that last delayed touch to chip it over the final defender. There's another one from Goffs, but that one is by way of a flip reset. Dayshift to himself, lost the flip reset, but did enough on that challenge to enable a tap in from Goffs.
It's a lovely play yet again by Day Shift. Whenever they want to bring out a mechanical masterclass, they seem to be able to pull it out of nowhere. Gorfs will be credited with that goal, but again, it felt like it came all through the hands of Day Shift. And now with those scores equal, Azuris have to keep their confidence. They have to hold their bottle in the final 10 seconds. However, it is Pickup FC. They're in their offensive thirds. Daikey's going to have to push this one to the corner. However, there's a bit too much height on it than I would like. Darkrai wants to slam that on the floor. Gorse wanted to keep it up, but just about caught right next to the corner. We find our first overtime. Azuris, they're a minute away from getting their first game win of the day, but Pickup FC had something special planned for them, and they've come out electric in OT.
Alrighty, I was very concerned off the initial kickoff, but Azuris has not stabilized as much as I thought they have. We will lose in a sweep. What? Goff's played that forward. Day Shift is just in our net causing commotion and couldn't make contact on the back end. I believe that was Daikey. That sucks. That feels so bad, Pig.
Yeah, that felt like a bit of an implosion there in overtime. There was a lot of early pressure shown there by Pickup, which I feel like would have played a little bit to the psyche, especially conceding so late in the game for that equalizer. I believe it was 11 seconds left on the clock when Day Shift was able to set up Gorfs for that goal, which ultimately felt like it was going to send the game into overtime. And it felt like it was that feeling of losing control, like we spoke about a little bit in game one, playing a factor in that overtime, where as soon as the scorelines were made 1-1, it felt like that was the moment they were waiting for. And well, that was put to the test a little bit in that second game, and I felt like they didn't fall for it. Even when it was made 1-1 again, they were still coming out with that bit of extra pressure. But maybe it was that 2-2 scoreline that felt that little bit different towards the players. They felt like they had finally gone that extra mile, and Pickup still had more to show. That very much felt like Azuris beating themselves more than Pickup were able to beat them. But again, Pickup FC are a team that have, well, increasingly grown in their experience, and it felt like it was a little bit of an experience difference there between the two teams instead of actually their individual qualities.
Well, with you on that front, because it's all three games where we get the opening goal and all three games we lose. You think probably shouldn't be the case, especially with the mindset of if you score first, you're the one who can then typically dictate the pace of play and manage your own game. And I feel like that happened a lot in games 2 and 3. Just, we were our own worst enemy, shot ourselves in the foot one too many times, and the result is what we had there on screen, a 3-0 sweep. Azuris falling to Pickup FC. So we will look to regather ourselves and pull ourselves up from the bootstraps down in the lower end of the bracket. That'll be coming up after this break.
I'd have the courage, yeah. And it's tough to let go even after all of this time. You are the reason why I'm fucked up, was trapped up. I lucked out 'cause I believed in all those lies, that you loved me. You never loved me. I don't know how to accept that what you did still colors me black, and it's got me like that you're moving. Even though I still feel the echoes, I'm fucked up and I can't love myself now. I live like I own these lies, and I'm not enough, though you're not enough. Just want to shut it up. Now what you did still colors me black, and it's gonna be like that. I feel so I made this point now. You don't look back. It's gonna be like I feel so that's what you did. That's what you did. Now what you did.
This is the emergency broadcast system. This is not a test. Repeat, this is not a test. Citizens are advised to take the following steps. Stay alert to make immediate fast forward or emergency alert notifications.
surprise that you're in my mind. You fooled me once, you fooled me twice. I ain't going back this time. We're making up, we're breaking up. I don't know why. I know you've been fooling around. You better watch out, you better watch out. Why'd you gotta do me like that? Why'd you gotta do me like that? Why'd you gotta do me like that? Why'd you gotta do me like that?
You're my perfection. See, I need you like the radio. You keep the beat alive. Gotta have you like the stereo. I need you in my life. Hey, you're my obsession. 'Cause baby, you're my melody so sweet. Hey, you're my obsession. Hey, you're my obsession. Listen.
What's on your mind? Can I read it from your eyes? Can we leave and make the time stand still? What if we stay? Pretend there's nothing else. What if we stay? I want you to know I can never, never What's on your mind? Can I read it from your eyes? Can we lay and make the time stand still? What if we stay? Pretend there's nothing else. What's on your mind? Can I read it from your eyes? Can we lay and make the time stand still? What if we stay? Pretend there's nothing else.
Just break my
My tears like rain run down the window. I repeat your name, losing your wisdom. My tears like rain run down the window. I repeat what you need. Losing no wisdom. Through the night and morning, when the rain is pouring, you're the one I'm calling. You're my escape from my darkest days. And when the sun is shining, you know we out here riding, chasing the horizon with you. I don't need to look no further. You are the one I'm certain, only one that I'll be holding. When you're loving me, it goes like look no further, look no further. Look no further, it goes like look no further, look no further. Look no further, it goes like I never thought I'd find it. A love that feels so perfect, I can't even word it. Yeah, you make me lift up from the ground. I believe that we are more, all the world is looking for. Show them all we got it. Never look back, never let go. I don't need to look no further. You are the one I'm certain, only one that I'll be holding. When you're loving me, it goes like look no further, look no further. Look no further, it goes like look no further, look no further. Look no further, it goes like I believe that we are more, all the world is looking for. Show them all we got it. Never look back, never let go. I don't need to look no further. You are the one I'm certain, only one that I'll be holding. When you're loving me, it goes like look no further, look no further. Look no further, it goes like
I don't wanna risk it all again, but I don't wanna be on my own. It always goes much better in my head, but the feelings end up wasted. So I'm sorry for breaking down when you said you got me. I'm used to being let down, but I'm hoping If I'm falling too fast, then you'll catch me. You'll catch me. So I'm sorry that you might have to see I'm not flawless. I promise that I'm facing my problems. If I'm falling too fast, will you catch me? Will you catch me before I crash? I'm so afraid that you'll run out of patience. Trust me, I know how it feels to be hopelessly waiting. Sometimes I don't know if I can even change, but I'm still trying. So I'm sorry that you might have to see I'm not flawless. I promise that I'm facing my problems. If I'm falling too fast, will you catch me? Will you catch me before I crash?
Mirrors on the wall, staring back at me. Stranger in the hall, frozen by the scene. Portrait seemed to fade, he lost his centerpiece. Can't recall his face, I hope he'll rest in peace. Haunted by my mind, victim or the prey. Everything is fine, take me to my grave. Bury me alive, keeping me astray. Hard to say goodbye to who I am today. Everything is fine, take me to my grave. Haunted by my mind, victim or the prey. Everything is fine, take me today.
Waiting for your storm to settle as I look toward the sea. Dust in your eyes like the water as the tide it consumes me. You would never save me if my walls came down. Head is underwater, you would let me drown. Watching as I suffocate. Darling, pull the trigger, honey, steal my crown. Choke me till I black out, put your hands around. Hurt out my heart, I'm guilty. She said, worship me. I control the air you breathe. Worship me. My forgiveness sets you free. Worship me. I control the air you breathe. Worship me. My forgiveness sets you free. Throwing up your hands in worship, cast your sins away to Him. Go a garden safe from murder. Fill the forest with your kin. You would never save me if my walls came down. Head is underwater, you would let me drown. Watching as I suffocate. Darling, pull the trigger, honey, steal my crown. Choke me till I black out, put your hands around. Hurt out my heart, I'm guilty. She said, worship me. I control the air you breathe. Worship me. My forgiveness sets you free. Worship me. I control the air you breathe. Worship me. My forgiveness sets you free.
Stay focused, man's on a mission. Wavy like the ocean, ain't got time for inhibition. Eyes on a prize, lock it in your vision. Straight up, man, that's gotta make a decision. Stay focused, man, I gotta go. Can't be going backwards, I can't be going slow. Gotta take the lead and I gotta steal the show. It's a straight up madness, you know how we roll. Madness, you know how we roll. Stay focused, man, I gotta go. Can't be going backwards, I can't be going slow. Gotta take the lead and I gotta steal the show. It's a straight up madness, you know how we roll. Madness, you know how we roll.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Azuris broadcast. And well, it's been a bit of time, so let me just remind you, it is day 2 of Open 5 RLCS 2025 EU. And Azuris are looking to fight for their spots in the Swiss stage. But after, admittedly, quite a close affair in the upper bracket, despite what the series score will tell you, Azuris now find themselves in the lowers with 4 series in a row required to make that Swiss stage. Our first opponents are confirmed as Guns N' Roses, and to really tie all these loose ends and hope that you guys haven't forgotten about us in this long break, it is myself, SirPigasus, alongside Quanzek.
Yes, thank you for the reintroduction there, Pig. It is, you know, I phrased it before our first matchup of like, this is a crucial game to win, not just because of the prospects for your day 3 changing drastically. Coupled with that, you have the swing of now you have to go through a gauntlet in the lower side of the bracket if you do fall, and unfortunately that's the position that Azuris finds themselves in. We'll get these next series going underway here shortly as we instantly take to the pitch. Look at that. I am a psychic pig. Guns N' Roses are our opposition, as you posted earlier. Azuris on their last life for Open number 5.
And I have had a little bit of a look at the seedings. It does not back us in this matchup. The expectations land that Guns N' Roses will progress down the bracket. And I'll be honest with you here, Quanzek, I'm as surprised as you are. I would very much see Azuris as the favourite team between these two, but perhaps we're in for a bit more of a harder journey than we initially expected. I do find that in the second Open of a split, when the top 8 have been guaranteed that Swiss stage, it does lead to you having to beat a lot more good teams consistently instead of having these games which you can roll through and then, you know, the likes of Vitality eventually popping up, or even Volkajongen later down the bracket. Oh my goodness, do we remember that team name? It is going to be Azuris having to be on their best behavior for these next 4 series, because the average skill of these players, I feel like, will be higher than what we saw before.
I think you're 100% correct in that assessment, as Sicarino tried for the net there. It's the quality of opponents gets raised, and I think you're right in identifying that the average will be much more talented than the peaks you might have in previous Opens. It is a case, though, too, where Guns N' Roses just peaked in Open number 4, and that's why they have the higher seed than we do, as Azuris is on the board first.
It's at its most flexible point, isn't it? That pesky seeding, which can at times feel like it makes or breaks your run. And they have apparently made top 33 runs, the players on Guns N' Roses. I will say that these are not players' names that I recognize, so perhaps some new guns entering the scene here, looking to try and re-establish themselves for those top spots. But a bit of ingenious play there from Sicarino will open up the space. Daiki will take gold too, and, well, our expectations are at least coming true here, Quanzek. It's been a rather dominant start.
Yeah, new guns entering the scene, potentially new roses thrown on top of the pitch as they concede a second goal, and Azuris looking to come back not once but twice more. This is the type of dominating offense that we're really used to seeing if they can step on the gas, and they look like they're not looking to let up anytime soon through 2 minutes here. Darkrai off the corner. That's a good chip forward by Danternex as Daiki over to Darkrai. He missed that full boost, though, so this play will come to a grinding halt as Guns N' Roses break out from their half.
Sicarino up, wanted that second touch. Daiki still there to clean up that play, and Azuris now having to defend this continued onslaught from Guns N' Roses. They looked a little bit awkward in that midfield, and it's why they've been given so much time to pick up all this boost to be able to reignite an offense off their own, even when Daiki's low, able to find Sicarino. It feels like Guns N' Roses will just try and break you down. They play rather high compared to other teams we've seen before, so it feels like when Azuris are getting more heavy touches, Guns N' Roses have left themselves in some awkward positions where they've had to burn a lot of extra boost than they would have had to do if they had just sat a few car lengths more behind. But where the payoff of that comes is in moments like this, where Azuris are just scrambling in their defense, and there's always going to be that first or second man going for those 50s against them. But ultimately, Azuris have been able to keep a cool head on their shoulders, and have really impressed me so far in these opening stages, especially considering the break they've had.
Yes, it's a long time to stay warm and to stay on top of your game, but they have succeeded thus far, especially with Guns N' Roses. You know, they're just coming out from a series right now, but Azuris knows what's at stake. They don't want to repeat their open number 4 results, and look at this placement from Darkrai. Really plays the defender in Gintoki, just knows he has to cover the rest of the net, decides to shoot short side post, plays that down, a little bit of a bounce shot to make it even more difficult with him coming off the back wall too, and Azuris up by 3, now back down to 2.
I was about to say, but I hope the game score matches the eventual series, and, you know, the Guns N' Roses had to score immediately afterwards. Of course, I'd still be happy with it, but I would like Azuris to get off to a big start here. I think a sweep to start off that gauntlet in the lower bracket, not only does it shorten the amount of time you're actually going to spend in game, which I feel like would help if you're worried about them having any fatigue, it would just give them that extra burst of confidence as well, backing themselves a little bit more after what was such a heartbreaking upper bracket series where I feel like they would have felt disappointed not to get a game out of it. Guns N' Roses starting to speed up their play a little bit, but still, Azuris have been really able to match them at every single ball that's been thrown against them. Every 50's been strong, everything loose has been an Azuris beat. They just simply seem like that faster and better team in this first game.
And that's what we're hoping to see out of this team. We know they can play up to this level, and I do think they've kind of gotten them not just playing to this level, but their heads are much more on straight this time around. They've settled into this day 2 of Rocket League action in the open number 5, and they look much better for it. They're composed, they're poised, they're calculating what the plays they're going for, and we haven't seen the same errors that plagued them in the previous matchup. Whether they were, you know, worried about playing under the spotlights of the caliber of names that they were up against, or they just need some more time to warm up, they look much better off now as they'll take this game 1 3-1.
What a start that was. I feel like that was exactly the game we were waiting for, that extended break, one where it just felt like Azuris had frankly everything in their favor, even out of possession. They felt like that team in control. They were forcing Guns N' Roses into positions that they wouldn't have had as their first pick, let's just say. They want that central space. They want to be behind the ball. They want to have sights at all corners of that goal. And with all the closing doors of the Azuris defenders, they really had very few options for the entirety of those 5 minutes. They were able to squeak that one through, but it really felt like a one-off in the grand scheme of things.
Yep, pressed for chances, few and far between. They couldn't. Never really had the boost totals or the speed to the ball to maintain long-winded pressures, so it's really just chip shots they were trying to get into the net. But as you said, the fast closing defense from Azuris, they're to slam the door each and every single time. We got the job done offensively and defensively for the first time really today. And growing on that, making that more consistent to poise us not just for success the rest of this series, but the rest of today, as you said earlier, Pig, 4 series to qualify to day 3. We need to win each and every single one. A long road ahead of us.
And I see in chat, really good game 1, guys. Start as you mean to go on, and I think that's the perfect advice for Azuris right now. Don't change up that game plan. Stick to how you played before, because frankly, it felt close to perfect. It doesn't feel like this would be a losable series if they held on to that level of performance. But Ishigo might just be showing another level we haven't seen so far from GNR. Still, there's a fantastic save on those final lines, a good reading of the play in front of them. They are going to be required to do the very same again. It is Sicarino, and I love that third touch as well. Always looking for that little bit extra. He could have just settled with the save. He could have just settled with that second touch. But Guns N' Roses were given no space to strike right back. Instead, what a play from Sicarino. I called him the master of the backboard yesterday. There's something else special for you. Daiki will just tap it home. But ultimately, it's going to be that German yet again to make the magic happen for Azuris.
What? Okay, double fake kickoff from Guns N' Roses. They're trying to immediately pull some momentum back in their corner. They hear how hyped the booth is. They might have succeeded. This one still floating on the crease. Nobody can make contact. Ichigo towards the net. Saved by Darkrai, and man, that had me sweating on the edge of my seat for a second there, but Azuris, frankly, okay, they will not get away with murder. Dantronex will finally slot it in for Guns N' Roses.
Dantronex with a nice 50 there. That's a big misread coming from Sicarino. Masters of his opponent's backboard. Maybe not quite his own. GNR will get that equalizer, but we know how much these one-off mistakes can sometimes build up in a game where goals are not quite aplenty. That's how it felt like in that series above. But Azuris have proven to ourselves and those in chat as well, they're going to be able to grab a bunch of goals across. They were able to do it in the first. It doesn't feel like anything in that regards is really changing here in the second. Still, Ashigo will look for a teammate. Darkrai will get that initial block. Wants that flip reset, but it's not going to be close enough to the ball there to be able to keep that possession. Instead, Sicarino again required to try and set up a teammate, but one doesn't quite land as he'd like, and that's a very, very high defensive line there. Completely exploited by Guns N' Roses. There's no offsides in Rocket League, and even still, it's a perfectly timed run by Dantronex.
Yeah. Darkrai was cheating up rather aggressively as the third man. And with that challenge, that 50 being won that cleanly, really just turned into a tap-in for Guns N' Roses, which I'm really curious as to why their name is Guns N' Roses. I understand it's after the band, but I don't know what it felt like.
Just a big fan, no?
Apparently, one of them, all three of them, it's a rather odd choice in my mind for a name in the, for them to be named after Guns N' Roses, but what do I know? Ichigo. Flip reset, chip forward, good save by Sicarino off the back wall, gets a savior medal as well, and Azuris having to deal with a different script. It's really been put on its head as Guns N' Roses are giving them a little bit of their own treatment after that game one. Azuris is on the back foot.
And Darkrai wanted to turn that one around again, just caught a bit too high this time though, having that option as the second man behind him. Sicarino able to keep it forward. And Ichigo, is that correct production? I'm sure they'll tell me right after. Dantronex will get it back forward. Sicarino in the corner. Doesn't get the touch they'd like, but there isn't much of a press there from Guns N' Roses. Anticipated that heavy touch was eventually going to find themselves, but they didn't clean up that loose ball as you would expect. They had all the ingredients there cooking up for a 3-1 lead, but couldn't quite cook it correctly. Darkrai on that left wall again. I'm getting a little bit concerned here, Quanzek, with some of these really high plays we're seeing from the Azuris second and third man. Because if that 50 had landed a little bit less fortunately, that would have been a doubled lead there again for Guns N' Roses.
I appreciate the aggressiveness that Azuris is gunning for, right? We all have already seen it pan out, but you're 100% right, Pigasus, in the sense that there needs to be, you cannot exit your half until you see your own teammate leaving your own half with possession of the ball. That is the important clarifying point there. With possession. If you bite off more than you can chew, it's gonna come to sting you, and that's what has already happened as Guns N' Roses are trying for a third. They might have been the ones who sent the house. If Sicarino can get past Dantronex, he cannot. The scrambling Guns N' Roses will get back in time defensively as Dantronex is the lone man hero. Has this turned into a goal on the other end? This is commotion at this point. What's going on? Azuris have 5 seconds to score coast to coast. That's all that matters right now. Sicarino, Daiki, I like the vision, but unfortunately cannot get it in. And so the end result will be 2-1 Guns N' Roses in really a situation that, like, yes, they played better, but that one goal of the run from, was it Ichigo or was it somebody else? Whoever
I don't know. I will just say I've
made your football reference of a very far pushed up line in a perfectly timed run regardless. It was that person.
Yeah. Absolutely. And listen, I've got a few reasons to dislike this Guns N' Roses side. One, of course, they're beating the mighty Azuris. Second off, you could see them adjust their play style a little bit halfway towards the game that, I don't know, felt a little bit disrespectful to the players. There was lots of heavy touches coming in from Azuris, and they were taking full advantage of that. They weren't challenging early. They didn't have that faith that the defenders were just going to take that first touch and hold it in for a 50. They were waiting for those loose balls that they felt like was inevitable to come, and that feels, like I said, a little bit disrespectful to Azuris, but frankly deserved in that game with the opportunities they were giving them. In game one, Guns N' Roses were a lot more offensive, and I feel like that's why we saw Azuris heading into the second game, feeling like they had that space to just be able to boom the ball, flip, as if they were going to get those 50s, but those 50s never came. And my third and final reason is because these names are an absolute mouthful to cast. So Azuris, get this game done quickly. Game 4, let's get out of here.
This team, I didn't want to be the first to say some of the names because I have no idea. Jintoki, Dantradex, and Ichigo are like, what are we doing here? The captain's worst nightmare. Like, Pig, you and I, it's like a waiting game of like, you say it first. No, you say it first. No, go ahead. I insist. Guns N' Roses once more on the board first, and it's going to be the long-winded Dantradex who gets a goal. And this sounds like a really garbage over-the-counter medicine. I'm sorry.
Oh my goodness. Well, it seemed to be the solution to all of Guns N' Roses' issues after that first game. They've been able to pick up really nicely in the second and the third, and immediately we see Azuris having to claw back from behind, but we know that scoring first doesn't immediately guarantee you a victory, and unfortunately that's where I divert your eyes to that upper bracket matchup we had before. And if anything, that should be a bit of confidence here for Azuris. Darkrai beaten to that ball by Toki. Sicarino will try and keep it close, but again, the 50s are there, and it feels like Guns N' Roses just switch between whether they want to be that high-pressure side, competing for every single 50-50, or if they want to sit back a bit more. They continuously just throwing the minds of the Azuris defense and how they've got to factor the ball ahead of them. They've got to be a bit more reactive, I feel like, for a lot of these chances instead of proactive, because Guns N' Roses, they'll flip the game plan, they'll flip the script straight ahead against you as soon as they feel like you're getting a feel for one thing, but that certainly wasn't on their planning sheet. Where has the defense gone?
I'll tell you, you were there sitting talking about, different ideas, if they're coming and defending, if they want to throw it in Azuris' face, whatever the case is, it has monumentally collapsed there. It's a gift given over to Azuris, and what really felt like Guns N' Roses was slowly wrangling momentum over from them, as that one's a bit dangerous. Has Sicarino also found a second open net? No. Guns N' Roses will retreat in time and cash in. Azuris has to worry about things defensively with not a whole ton of boost in the tank. Darkrai gets a fool in the corner, but it has to get here for the save. Jintoki, a little bit of, I believe, an intentional fake, although I'm not sure what the ideology is. Is that the screaming pinch that almost ends up in? Sicarino gets a dunk, but both of these teams near the midway mark in this game number 3, looking for that go-ahead goal.
We haven't seen much maintained pressure from either side. It's been rather end-to-end. It felt like that attack from Azuris was the first real play to last more than 20 seconds than either of these teams had seen so far. So you're hoping that that's good fortunes moving forward. Daiki wants to redirect. Has he found it? Dantradex is on, but Daiki's still on here. And now we're knocking on heaven's door. Guns N' Roses That back foot, Darkrai puts it high, and this is a bit of momentum that you're looking for from Azuris. Those shines of brilliance, those sparks that we know them for, because I feel like this team is best in that offensive third. That's Darkrai trying to find the angle. The top right corner defended by Ichigo, but his halfway line being defended like it's our own net. Allows Azuris to stay forward. Daiki keeps it forward yet again. Will actually get that second touch on a demo as well. A little bit of afters found for them. And now Darkrai waits inside. It's got to be his. What a save from Ichigo.
Man, I thought that was it. A lot of heavy lifting done by Daiki there as he's still continuing the one-man wrecking crew. Guns N' Roses look so worse for wear, but they finally exit their own zone and have the ability to recollect a couple of boosts. The fact that Azuris held pressure for that long without a go-ahead goal, you have to give respect, give them their roses, if you will, for their defense. It had to happen at some point. Dantrinax in and out save gets him a savior medal, and we're at 60 seconds, nearing golden goal territory, and it's gonna be Guns N' Roses that somehow are the team to take the lead.
Well, let's hope it wasn't golden goal territory. Azuris need to claw one back now. And it was a rather rare offensive chance there for GNR compared to what we've seen for the rest of the series. This game has felt rather Azuris dominated. They've had so much time in that final third, but there's just been a defense there to match. And even with Azuris feeling like they were dominant in the boost economy as well, it was due to the resourcefulness of GNR that they've been able to hold on in the first place. That timer already down to 35 seconds. It really goes quick when you're the team that's trailing, but for GNR, it will feel like an eternity. Sicarino just thought again about going for that second touch. Instead, feel like they wanted Daiki to pick it up. It felt like a slight lapse in communication between those two players, and now that's allowed Guns N' Roses to have a bit too much space here. Too much of an opportunity to run down this clock, which has gone down to its final 5 seconds. The ball's on the wrong half of the pitch. Darkrai's got to keep it up. That's actually a nice hit towards the center. Hold on a minute. That's a free backboard. Sigarino's up. It's on! But it hits the ground. And GNR get away with murder. Woo. Heartbreak after heartbreak. My goodness, what an ending.
A half second on that clock, Pigasus, is the only thing that was missing there. That is the difference from us equalizing and going to overtime to the game ending in the manner that it did.
Oh, that's going to be a really hard pill to swallow for the players, especially now knowing that free backboard realistically for Sicarino, who I've complimented for his double tapping abilities heading into day 2 from what we saw in day 1, had one last chance to really put it to the test. And it hits the ground. That puts them on their final life now, Quan. That's the extra bit of spice to add to that already heartbreaking game defeat. Now it's got to win 2 in a row versus Guns N' Roses, or this is going to be a very early exit for the quality that Azuris are able to offer as a team.
It feels like it's just a small plaguing of consistency that's really dragging them down. You see all the opportunities that they have. You see the ability for them to score on a moment's notice. Whether it's individual mechanics, a brilliant team play, it's all there. It's just the crumbling defensively, or the times where they do set up 90-second long pressures and they can't cash in a goal. I understand it's much easier said than done, but you clean up those two things, and all of a sudden, I think you have a consistently, like, top 24 level team.
It's just got to iron out all those small mistakes that they do make, and it really does feel small concept. For the most part, this team has, if anything, a little bit past the foundations to a level here. It feels like they've got all that tough stuff sorted, but when it comes to some of those basic one-offs, you know, not passing into the offensive player, not committing a little bit too high, having that third man just that bit deeper, sometimes those mistakes do seep into the play. But if they're able to master it, and when you have the coach, of course, like the likes of Nordic Verdane behind you to really throw you back into shape, Azuris have that raw quality where they could really be contesting, like you said before. It would be nice, though, to just get that early bit of a start. Here in Open 5, pick yourself up. You're only 1 goal down, and there is just shy of 4 minutes left of the clock. Give us something to be really impressed by, like a save there from Daiki on the goal line. Now it's about that transition, and I am going to have my eye on that second and third man as well, because it isn't solid possession like I think you alluded to at the end of that first game. Ichigo, back to Jintoki and Azuris. Again, just get away with it, because that was a wayward shot for the GNR attacker.
Alrighty. Azuris has to be now. Otherwise, it's not technically never. It is open number 6, but considering that's the last open of this season, I don't really know if that's the goal you want to have, or the pressure you want to put on yourself before you take a 6-month hiatus before competitive season 2026. Jintoki chasing this one down. That's a careening ball that goes from the sidewall over to the tangential, I believe that's correct, corner, as that's a good shot on by Sicarino. Dantronex diving at it. Darkrai can't get there. Ichigo pushing it forward, and here he comes alongside Dantronex. That one high, careening ball off the back wall. Jintoki dropped down, does force 2 out, but Azuris gets the ball with Daiki in a 1v1 against Ichigo, who misses it. Sicarino! It's going to be there to punish it, and there we go, Azuris. A little bit of a gift, but we'll take it nonetheless.
And these are the kind of goals I feel like you really need to grab in a game like this. When a mistake is made by your offensive side, you've got to be able to score those basic shots. It's well positioned there from Sicarino to be able to get that job done, but now build off the back of that momentum. Maybe get one straight off the kickoff. That's a fantastic save coming in from Dantronex, but now Sicarino has space in the air. Unfortunately, too little boost to really carry that one off himself. Instead, Daiki is going to have to be there on the underlap. Has only 24 to his name. SK waiting at that right corner as well, but that's better already. I like to see Darkrai in those kinds of positions. I feel like a game-free Azuris would have conceded there with a bit of an overconfident final line. This time, they are cleaning up their act, and it has come at that perfect moment. 100 seconds left on the clock. We saw a goal just as it got into that final minute in the game before. Now it's Azuris' turn, and you see them on the attack.
It's the understanding that if it doesn't come now, then they're just going to have to sit for the next 2 weeks thinking about what could have been. Stay alive, force a game 5 here. Ichigo obviously has other plans, doesn't want to allow this roster to have a chance at a game 5. That's a fantastic shot by Dantronex, though. Another situation where there's really just nobody there to make contact. It is admittedly a very hard ball to get to if you're Darkrai, but Daiki puts himself in the middle of the net and just sails in by way of Dantronex. So now Azuris down by 1, and this clock continues to tick down. Father Time has his Nikes on.
Daiki on. 1 minute just to grab that 1 goal. Just think about that next step, whether it's your upcoming 50, your upcoming touch, the pass you're going to play off. You need to get it all perfect, and you need to get it now. Chances are going to be in the very low single digits now for Azuris, if at all. They need to get out of their own third first. That's an inside pass. They look to find Toki. That was a good cut there coming in from Darkrai. That sidewall from Dantronex was almost a perfect assist to put the nail in the coffin, but instead it's found Sicarino. Looked to drag himself forward, but my goodness, we've complimented them the entire series for this. GNR are so strong on the defense. A fantastic save again from Sicarino. That shot flies wayward, but still with the momentum of his initial save, he'll clear it off the crossbar, and now it's 10 seconds left, Konzak.
Ichigo forward towards the net. Azuris need to go the length of the pitch. That's a good save by Sicarino. Darkrai has it on, so good shot, good demo, but Ichigo able to retreat along with the ball, find a fantastic double tap, clear off his own back wall. And Azuris, I know they weren't happy with their day one play. Knowing these guys, they're not going to be happy with their day two play. This is an early exit for us, Pig.
It really is. And look, we got to be realistic here on the team stream. You know, we are here for the team. We're as biased as ever for the team, aren't we, Konzak?
No, unbiased casting.
Oh, sorry.
Unbiased.
Yeah, sorry. Unbiased casting, Azuris is number one team in the world. But that's why, you know, you can be disappointed about that result.
Yeah.
Because you've been here with the team, you know what they're capable of, and you know that this simply was not it. This is not even a flaw. It's a little bit lower than that for these players. Again, if we're being completely honest, they are going to have to come back swinging differently in that final open, and I'm sure they will. I feel like a lot of players do get these open 2 blues in a Swiss. I know that certainly the team I casted in Europe in Split 1 had that moment as well, but heading into the third open, they actually did have their strongest performance. So while it might be, you know, temporary pain for ourselves, the players, the coach, the organization, and those here in chat, you've just got to look at that next open, which will be the final charge for this team in the 2025 season.
Yep, it'll be the last opportunity to make your mark. You and I, Pig, there's a reason we took this gig. It's belief in the team. It's confidence in what they're putting out there. Strength in Nordic to get these guys aligned, and didn't happen this time around. I know they're the only result is they're going to be hustling even harder to make sure they don't have this feeling again. But unfortunately, like you said earlier, Pig, this isn't the floor. We have made a descent into the basement for the expectations of this roster. Thank you all for watching. It's a rather early end to our stream. I've been Quanzek. You can find me everywhere at Quanzek, Quanzek, thrown on the end there. That 7 string of letters into Google will pull up all of my socials because it's such a unique string. I'll give a shout out to the man himself behind the buttons, Kendo, for making us look very pretty everywhere. And I believe I'm not going to do what you did last open, and I'm going to throw it back to you to make sure you can quote his Twitter handle correctly, because I believe that was
I believe it's, and he can speak in my ear, it's Kendo Sir, but it's ITZ for the it's. I mean, he really did not make it easy for himself to be discovered, but if you do put exclamation mark producer in chat,
there you go.
That will send you straight there. You can also do exclamation mark casters as well. Let's see if my command's working. It is indeed, and it is ITZ Kendo Sir. For me, it's SirPigasus on all socials. Slap an underscore on the end if you're looking for Instagram, but TikTok, Twitch, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, that is all plainly SirPigasus. And we say with love for this roster that they were better than that performance today, and we will be happy to come back in that next open and see a much better performance. All loves to those that have supported us in chat. Thank you for being alongside me, Quanzek, and of course Kendo in production. We will see you all next time.
Come and set me free, 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 free. Come and set me free.
Space goes boom as we enter. Shaking the room from the back to the center. Making you move to the track, you surrender. Got you scrunching your face closed up. As we enter, shaking the room from the back to the center.